So connection is just, you just attach yourself to everything. Okay, that's one level that can kind of be intelligent in a way, but real intelligence is like when things are all like working together, you know what I mean? In a synergistic sort of fashion, right? And so if you have lots of connections and lots of them are in a harmonic sort of way, where like when one person does well, the other person's doing well, like that sort of thing, that's when things get really crazy.
What if there is actually a way of stop trying to figure out everything on your own? How would it feel to stop playing single player mode in your business, in your creative projects, and going all in into multiplayer mode? In today's episode, I have the honor of sharing it with Andrew Browning, actually known as Unchained Self. He's a life coach based in the United States, and he coaches stifled creators to use their passions as a means to unlock and rediscover their powerful, authentic self. Currently, we are teaming up to build a community for coaches and creative entrepreneurs where they can improve their skills through peer coaching and find support and accountability to advance their projects. So yes, yay! We are here doing another episode with
Awesome.
Andrew. It happened, a new episode, man. Second one.
Thank you for inviting me again.
No
Appreciate it.
problem. I would like to hear you. What's volunteer coaching, this project that you are pushing right now with a lot of intensity and enthusiasm?
Okay, yeah, sure. So let me just take you back a little bit.
Okay.
I had just finished my coaching training, basically, and I didn't really know how to continue growing, like in terms of developing my skills exactly. But in my training, I really liked that we had this thing where we were coaching each other in the training. We
Mm.
had us, I was learning, we had another coach who was learning, and then we'd have like the teacher and the mentor coach basically, and he would be an observer and he would have us coach each other. And it was this really cool dynamic. So right when I finished the training, I thought like, okay, I want to be able to like coach regular people, but it also might be cool at some point to do like coaching with other coaches and learn from them. So I made this group. It was called Volunteer Coaching. I didn't want it to be a big barrier or anything to like doing it. I just wanted the experience, and I thought like it's a great way to help people at the same time. Maybe there's people who come in who don't know anything about coaching, but they can get a chance to try it out basically. So that was the idea originally. Honestly, I didn't do much with it at all for over a year. But
Oh.
during that time, a couple people would pop in like, regularly,
Mm-hmm.
and I was surprised. I was because all I did was just post it, on a couple Discord boards. I didn't do any advertising whatsoever, but I kept having people just pop in. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking like either I have really good real estate on these boards, or maybe there's like actually some demand for what I'm offering. And
Yeah.
and I talked to some really cool people there. Again, still not doing much with it, but I was like, okay, there's
Mm.
some really cool people who resonate with what I'm talking about. They like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I not investing time into this? So
Mm.
it's only been like maybe 3 or 4 months or so that I've been really ramping
Mm-hmm.
up the program, but we're really focused on the peer coaching aspect, but also just connecting with other creative entrepreneurs
Mm-hmm.
who, for me, I want to get away from the impersonal kind of hustle culture.
Mm-hmm.
We are not really making like real connections with people. So I know there is like the connection of, oh, we're like helping each other grow in terms of training, but I want to get beyond that and like know people
Mm.
and connect with people and make win-win relationships, just like what we're having here.
Mm-hmm.
I could have never guessed that we would be working as closely as we are
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now and collaborating, but it's great because I feel like it helps you, it helps me, and I'm learning so much, and I want to do that with other people as well, and just
Mm-hmm.
and just connect. And so my group is for the growing in that particular coaching aspect of right now at least, but it's also what I hope to be is a hub for people connecting and making real connections as well.
Wow, wow, I love it. And what a challenge. What a challenge. What a challenge it is to create that group in which there is this culture that allows for this kind of exchanges or relationships, and that everyone feels safe in there, and is everyone making everyone feel safe in it. And I'm saying this because we already faced some challenges with
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. You're not wrong.
in the
You're not
group,
wrong.
in the Discord group. I mean, there is a feature in which you can open your group for people to get in. Like your group is shown in a board, so people can see your group. Oh, okay, I want to get in. And we had a lot of lead fishers that
Yeah.
tried to get in, and they have this lychee quality, like they only want to push their product and pitch you, and they don't really care about actually building any relationship. And it's crazy because you can see in social media like, oh yeah, collaboration, like it's a word that people use, but like actually putting collaboration in practice, it's also a challenge from not only on a community level, like creating the culture for that, but also an individual level. What do you think about the challenge of embracing this collaboration mindset when you are pushing a project, when you are doing business, as an entrepreneur, as a coach? What do you think?
Well, to do it in the way that I'm talking about takes a lot of trust in some ways, because I think the normal mindset is to be like really like just hold on to things. We live in this kind of scarcity mindset, and we don't want to like give away our secrets and our our special tools, or and maybe maybe there's still some place for that for particular things, but I think we can share a lot more than we think, and it's when we share our gifts and our tools and what we've learned that we realize our actual value. That's what I'm learning. And of course, it can be a paid exchange. It doesn't have to be free. But I'm just saying, like, the more you share, the more you can see what your value is to other people. And I think something I've been thinking about a lot lately is that intelligence is connection on every level. Intelligence is connection. You're intelligent when you're able to connect ideas together in ways that people weren't able to connect ideas together. But also, when you connect yourself to other people, you are building intelligence,
Yes.
basically. You are literally embodying intelligence by sharing. And when you withhold that, you're withholding your intelligence, your natural gift.
Oh, you made me think about something. I'm watching an anime right now. Well, I just finished
Oh,
it.
yeah?
Yes.
Oh, which one?
Parasite is called. Oh no,
Oh, okay.
do you know it?
Good one. Yeah.
Ah, it's good. It's good. I like the hook of the anime. I mean, the main idea is good. Then I didn't like how it develops. It's like
Ah,
a little bit boring maybe at the end, but it's okay.
okay.
I
The
would
manga
give.
was better. The manga was better, as always. But
Ah,
yeah.
also always. Never
Yeah.
never read the manga. Well, this anime is around a parasite that somehow lands in Earth, and what happens is that this parasite is very powerful. I mean, it gets into a person's body, and in some way it inhabits the body, and it
Mhm.
controls the body, and well, it can kill people and etc. It's a very bizarre. You need to see it because it's a strange thing to to describe. But one thing that they say in this anime is that the parasites, they are very smart, they are intelligent, but at first they thought that humanity was very like weak, very fragile. But they learn after they try to dominate humanity, they discovered that they are not as easy as they thought, because humans have this like global intelligence, the collective intelligence, and when they work together, they are more smarter and dangerous than what they thought initially. So that's, I think this is the same in the sense that collaboration in some way creates like a smarter brain, a smarter capacity to deal with challenges, to deal with problems, for problem solving. And also something I'm realizing in real time, like working with people, working with you also, because we are having very good synergy working together. And I forgot about how important it is to create connections that give you energy, that give you
Yeah.
synergy, because synergy is free energy. It's suddenly you are motivated to do things. Suddenly it's easier to be disciplined because you having the energy, the motivation is a second nature for you to put that extra hour to do something because you are having fun basically and you are like inspired to do it. And I think this is a hack. It's like a life hack.
I think so too. I 100% agree with that. I have so much energy in compare. Honestly, I have so much energy in comparison to before.
Yeah,
Um,
man. I remember. I
I really
remember.
do. I think like I am realizing, yeah, like where my energy comes from. The more it's like I'm refining that understanding of where my energy comes from
Yeah.
more and more these days. And uh, you're right. What you said was perfectly, it was a really good point. It's not just connection. This is the other thing I've been thinking about lately. It's really what you're looking for is harmony, right?
Hmm.
So connection is just, you just attach yourself to everything. Okay, that's one level
Hmm.
that can kind of be intelligent in a way, but real intelligence is like when things are all like working together, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? In a
Mm-hmm.
synergistic sort of fashion, right?
Hmm.
And so if you have lots of connections and lots of them are in a harmonic sort of way,
Hmm.
where like when one person does well, the other person's doing well, like
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing, that's when things get really crazy. And I feel like I'm so happy and energized, like
Hmm.
connecting with the group. It's not even that big yet, but
No, no,
it's
yeah.
such a big boost. It's really making me consider a lot of things, even beyond business, just relationships in general.
Yes.
It's really important to find people who have that kind of synergistic energy, and it's a life changer. It's a
Mm-hmm.
life changer. It really is.
It is. It is. And I think it's a hack. It's a hack because it's like I remember Alex Ormosi says something about like he's theorizing about okay, what is it? What's working? What's actually working? Is working about putting more hours, like working a lot. It's about putting more hours, putting a lot of hours into something. That's one possible answer. Is working
Mhm.
about doing a lot of effort. It's about intensity. What's work about? And something he says that I like is that work is about output. So if you're able to produce a big amount of output by, I don't know, it doesn't matter how by a little part, a little portion of input, you are working a lot. So if we see it with this lens, it means that if you are collaborating, you will produce basically more output. I mean, companies, big companies, basically they are groups of people working together in synergy
Yes.
and they produce an impact that is mind blowing. You cannot do that alone, it's impossible. So basically, there is like a limit to what you can do as an individual human being that you can expand through that limit through collaboration and through team building and through win-win connections. So it's a hack. It's like there is a world of possibility behind the insecurities and fear we have of teaming up with others. Fears of, oh, is he going to steal my secrets? Is he going to be more validated than than me, or will he be more popular than me? I don't know. It's stupid insecurities we all have because we are human beings. We are vulnerable, and they might not make sense maybe, but they happen. I mean, I surprise myself a lot with those insecurities. Like, I'm full of insecurities, and it's like a process of okay, yeah, this is an insecurity. Well, yeah, ditch, ditching this insecurity. Let's keep moving. That kind of thing. I don't know. It's a journey. Uh,
I want to jump on what you said real quick. I mean, there's a bunch of cool things you said, but
mm,
I 100% agree what you're talking about. And I think we're going through this weird cycle. This you totally said something that was on my mind lately. So companies, oh my God, like there's a reason that structure has dominated the world.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like we're like, oh my God. And it's so funny because we're like right now we're having this conversation, we're like, oh my God, the power of teaming up.
Mm.
People have known this forever, right? People have known teaming up. We've had armies, like we've known this for a while.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And in some sense it's not really that revolutionary. In some
Yes.
sense it's pretty rudimentary. Um, but what's changed, I think, is so we were doing that, we were teaming up together, but as someone working in that group for a long time, we were just pawns, we were just
Mm.
drones, we were just NPCs, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my job. I get a paycheck, right? And people have grown to hate that. You've seen this movement, people wanting to become solopreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the expansion of authenticity on one level, and also taking control of your life,
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to be on your own journey where you're in control of what happens, whether you fail or succeed. Like there's more people wanting to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the process of kind of going that route, trying to escape that corporate mindset of
Hmm.
being a drone, um, in that process, I think a lot of us have, or many of us, have just actually took on kind of the head position of
Hmm.
a company. You know what I mean? Instead of becoming someone, we forgot about connection. We just want to
Mm-hmm.
have control. We just want
Hmm.
control, right? And so like we go into this and we're not trying to like connect with people. We just want to have control, control, control.
Mm-hmm.
And then we become like a little bit more isolated. And so you see a lot of solopreneurs, they're on social media, which is supposed to be social, but it's not that social actually. You don't
Mm-hmm.
connect with people. And but they feel alone. They're not really connected with people. They feel alone, they're struggling, and they feel like they're fighting against all these odds. And
Mm-hmm.
if they would just collaborate, like companies collaborate, but with, in a sense, instead of having people being your like serve you like you like
Mm.
your employees, that sort of relationship with
Mm-hmm.
people, just collaborate, have good connections with everyone. Have
Mm-hmm.
good connections with everyone. If everyone was like, it's like everyone's the head of their own company, but there's no need for a formal structure, right? You just collaborate with a bunch of people.
Mm.
Just collaborate with people, have good connections, understand what they want, figure out good mutual connection. If people would just do that, I think it's like everyone can be their own company. Everyone can be their own company.
Sorry, I got to. I really
That's
did.
okay.
I was
I'm
like,
dealing with that. I'm dealing with that.
I like it. I like it. I really did. I like it. Sorry,
Good
sorry.
feedback.
Okay, okay. Here we go. Oh,
Just keep it in. Just keep it in.
A few minutes later.
yes, solopreneurs, they want control. They want to claim that control that they never had because they were the pawns,
Yeah.
and it's like they go to the opposite direction of, okay, no, now I am the CEO of my company,
Yeah.
and they stay in that. And something I want to say is that, I mean, we are talking about networking in some sense.
In
And
some sense.
and you can go to LinkedIn and everyone is talking about networking because everyone knows that networking is quote unquote important. But I think when you mentioned about that social media is not social, I think that networking also is not social or is not truly creating genuine connections. Sometimes networking tends to be like this very robotic kind of interaction in which oh yeah, let's connect and we connect for future business, and it's like they are just replicating some kind of script or something, but it's not necessarily about truly listening to the other person, truly understanding their problems and seeing how there could be a possible win-win relationship there, which is something that takes some level of knowledge. It's not something that is like spontaneous. No, you need to know how to do it. How do you create a win-win relationship with someone? How do you manage a relationship with someone? These are things that they were never taught to us in school. Like relationship management, never in my life until I learned coaching. Never ever heard about that. And it's something that takes energy, takes attention. In example, sometimes when I need to have a meeting with someone that I'm collaborating with, I sit down 30 minutes before to write down what is it that I want to achieve in the conversation, what might be the problems they are facing, like putting attention into actually making it something worthwhile. And this is something I want to say, like it takes attention, it takes energy, and maybe that's one way in which we could help people through the group. I mean, we're talking real time about the group, like teaching
Yeah.
the tools to create those relationships in a way that they feel safe doing that, because there is a lot of risk also. I mean, how many stories have you heard about failed partnerships? Of I heard a lot of stories about failed partnerships. Oh yeah, Oh no, we agreed on something and then he did whatever he wanted and then I lost all my money and that kind of stuff. Well, I heard a lot of those horror stories, but truth is that there are a lot of stories that they end well at the end and they create successful businesses or teams or whatever. So yeah, I'm thinking about that, about the tools to create those win-win relationships. Just think about the person listening to this episode that maybe is saying, okay, yeah, but how does it look in practice to create a win-win relationship? What would you say in your experience, Andrew, about creating win-win relationships in practice? How does it look for you?
Well, first, I just want to be authentic. I don't think I consider myself a master on this topic
Mm-hmm.
yet. But that actually brings me to my first point that I would add is
Hmm.
that you want to be authentic in the relationship. And when you're working with people, if you sense that they can't admit what they do and don't know, that's a red flag for the relationship. Um,
Hmm.
and also, like what we're talking about, it's really not that different. You said people don't know how, and I agree, a lot of people don't know how, but on some level, um, it's not too different than relationships in general.
Hmm.
It's just that we're adding the money in, but people find romantic relationships to be very difficult, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a similarity between romantic relationships and maybe even these business relationships. It just feels like there's a lot at stake, right?
Hmm.
But people know how to be friends at least, right?
Hmm.
And I feel like one thing to consider is that with these win-win relationships, you get to choose how deep they get to be, just like how you can choose how deep, like, a friendship could be versus a romantic relationship could be. Like
Hmm.
if you were dating or you're talking to a girl, right?
Hmm.
You don't have to date them just because there's some interest. You know what I mean? You can choose what level of depth you have a relationship with someone.
Hmm.
And I think it's the same thing. And so you still should, manage how, what financially connected those relationships are
Hmm.
based on your level of genuine trust with that person.
Hmm.
But I guess my biggest point is that even if they betray you, in a lot of cases, you still learn.
Hmm.
You still learn. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and think, "Oh my God, this person's amazing. I'll just work with them and they'll be my collaboration person and no one else is." And it's
Hmm.
just like we're gonna build this big thing. You're putting a lot of pressure. Like collaborate. This is my view right now, at least. And maybe I'll be
Hmm.
wrong. I could be wrong. But I'm thinking I want to collaborate with as many people as possible. Different relationships will go to different lengths. Some just in life, some relationships aren't going to work out. And it might not even be a betrayal. It
Hmm.
just might be that it just didn't work out, right?
Hmm.
Um, like so whether it's betrayal or not, though, if you're actually establishing win-win relationships from the start, like even if it's a small thing and just building up, you're getting something out of it. So
Hmm.
I'm kind of thinking like, what is the problem with things failing, quote unquote?
Hmm.
It just means that I didn't get as much out of it as I would hope, but I still get stuff out of it if I'm actually having a win-win relationship.
I like it. I like it. So it's basically embracing um, this journey of actually trying to create those relationships. And well, some of those will not work. Some of these will work. You will learn along the way. And I want to know about that. What did you learn right now in your latest collaborations? What is important for you? What is important for you to clarify, or how do you approach that process of creating that win-win relationship today? And take your time.
Okay. I was laughing because I'm like, are we just talking about us? Like, um, hmm. Well, if I did bring it back to us, something that I did like,
Hmm.
uh, but at least with us, is that we both acknowledged on some level that there was like some apprehensions about how we would work together. Like while we both expressed enthusiasm
Hmm.
about working together, we both expressed some apprehension,
Hmm.
right? And having that out in the very beginning and having a conversation about that and how we would a structure for how to handle future, I guess, conflicts, but also just issues in general, like how to handle that from the very beginning. I think that's really, really helpful. And I think that's like a good sign. I think if you don't have that from the beginning, it just feels like a complete leap of faith. But like you're going to have issues with anyone you work with at any capacity, and having that in the very beginning, like, and then you can see, okay, well, how did this person fall through when things do come up? Did they just like, like blame me for everything? Did they listen? Did they not? Like you can actually see how they followed through. And just getting the intentions as well from the very beginning. Really good practice, I think.
Yes, and definitely let's talk about our experience, because it's very real. This is something that happened a few weeks ago. We were talking about, okay, yes, I would love to create this group with you, but I have some fears about it. Like I'm not really sure. Suddenly I found myself doing my own group. I remember I told you that. Suddenly I found myself doing my own group because this is something I wanted to do, but I knew that you had a group. Is there any possible dimension in which we can work together and actually have more fun doing it along the way and upgrading our effectivity? We start talking about it, and we figure out a middle ground, at least for now, that we can collaborate and feel like safe in that space. But it's something we designed. It's something we had to design very deliberately. It wasn't like, going with the flow. Yeah, we should go with the flow with Andrew. We see, no. This is, wait, man, what happens if everything goes to shit and, oh no, you decide that you want to work more with me? I invest a lot of energy in the group, and what happens? What happens with the relationship? What happens with my efforts? And oh yeah, that's true. You say, I don't know. Well, we should talk about that, and we start talking. And probably there are more conversations. In fact, we owe ourselves a conversation. We need a more. We talk about having another conversation for the relationship after this podcast episode recording session. And yes, in my experience, I think is to be open to have those difficult conversations. It's like because if not, it's bullshit. It's like, everything is okay. It's okay. It's not okay. The other person, his mind is. That happens with romantic relationships also. It's similar.
I know, it's all the same, right? It's all the same, feels like. No, I agree. And I think, again, I can't stress enough. I think it's a really good sign when the other person's willing to and does so in a way that's like respectful. And I think you gotta look for that. And even if the relationship doesn't go in the way, and I'm speaking for us, but also just in general, even if the relationship doesn't go in the way that you intended to, I think it still can be very beneficial to you as long as you have that respect there. You know what I mean? The relationship, how it plays out can evolve. But if you don't have the respect and the trust, it can just completely disconnect. And then where are you at? But still, you can still learn from it, just like you can learn from relationships that fail.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Like beginner's mind, always learning. I'm wondering, how can we help the person on the other side listening or watching this episode if they want to start getting into this group of collaboration? Maybe the person listening right now is an entrepreneur, maybe it's a coach. How can we? Maybe we have the group right now. The group is open, so people can get into the group. Am I right? Actually,
they can get in. There's not. We want to have more ways for people to find it, but yes, they theoretically can.
They are going to see the link on the description of this episode.
Oh, that's great.
They're going to see the link to join. And how is the process to join into this group and to start diving into this collaboration mode? How does it look, that journey, for the person that is listening on the other side? You want to talk about that a little bit, about the idea?
Well, right now, because we had a lot of, we had good people coming in, and we had not so good people coming in. So, I don't want to frame it this way necessarily, but we needed a wall.
Yes.
So basically, our wall is our good wall is basically we have like a verification form where people are going to talk about their intentions, what they were looking for in the group, and so far we have two more people in the group since we did that, and I think it's helpful
Okay.
already. I mean, of course, we'll see as we go on, but
Mm-hmm.
already it's like, okay, great, I can see where this person's coming from, and what I love about it is I have a way to kind of immediately, as someone running the group, I have a way to like engage with the person where I know that they can find value in the group. Um, and yeah, and I would encourage people when they join the group, we have our peer coaching events to join those, but soon I think we're going to also have just random welcome party events for people, party like a meeting uh, for people when they come in and just actually like connect. And I would encourage you to not treat, and whether it's this group or any group, I would encourage you to just run an experiment. Try like really trying to connect with people, ask them questions, get to know them for like a month. Just see what happens, see what doors open. I think you'll be really surprised. And I would encourage you to do that in our group, but even other groups you join and just see. I think it'd be a really worthwhile experiment. And I've been trying it and it's unbelievable.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
yes. Uh, What do you say?
Unbelievable.
What would you say is like the most impactful change since you started this experiment?
Well, I I just feel like there's just so much opportunity, I guess. I just feel like I think you talked about this one week. You just feel so abundant.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just, I mean, partially it was about like offering things like to people, but just connecting people in general. I'm just like, wow. Like in one sense, it's like, okay, wow, there's just so many cool people I just didn't know about just because I ever asked some questions. In general, this is in person, but also online. And then also, yeah, just like amazing connections. Like I feel like before, yeah, I just felt more, I didn't really know it, but I felt more isolated. I
Definitely.
feel like there are potential friends everywhere, if that makes sense. They don't have to be deep friends, but there's just potential really good connections like everywhere. And they could be deep friends. You never know.
You never know. Yes,
You never know.
I like it. I like it. Yeah,
People know so much too. People
exactly.
know so much. I've actually like I actually, here's an example. I've tried doing this for a little bit, not even that much, but like I messaged like 5 people in my dance community, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go out dancing with them. Tons of people. I do salsa dancing,
Salsero.
and I'm a salsero. Yes, exactly. I'm a salsero. Some people say a pretty good one too, but I don't know. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But yeah, no, but there's a lot of people who I've danced with and I've hung out with, and I'm not saying it's like totally surface level, but I didn't really know them that well outside of just
Mm-hmm.
hanging out with them in that way. And I decided to reach out with them and get to know them a little bit better. Um, Again, maybe this is just friends 101, but like I met people who are like awesome, or now really I'm much closer to in a friend sense, but also I met people who just amazing like business connections as well. And I had no idea that they were into certain things like, meditation. I love meditation, but there's other
Mm-hmm.
people into other things that are really connected and important to me. So I'm like, wow, like holy shit. Like I had no idea. And I'm seeing more and more in my community. There's so many opportunities that I had no idea about. I just thought of it as this, oh, it's a nice hobby.
Hmm.
And it is a nice hobby. But I think if you're in whatever you're invested in, if there's people there, there's amazing connections you have no idea about. You just gotta reach out and see.
Yes, and when you were talking about this change, it's a change that also I'm seeing this change real time because also if you are as you are watching this episode, you can watch the previous episode in which we had this conversation with Andrew, which was before his experiment. And now you have the conversation after the experiment, and you will see a transformation in Andrew, like and that speaks of you as a coach because a coach is a person that knows how to run through transformations or even design transformation for himself. And that's something I see you are doing and something I truly respect because It's not. There are a lot of coaches out there, but actually, people that put, let's say, the coaching in practice in their own life, well, there's a lot of difference or a lot of distance between one thing and the other thing. And what I'm wondering is, there was something stopping you before diving into this collaboration mindset. There was something that was stopping you to dive into this mindset, and that you were like in this single player mode, like isolated. What was stopping you from actually start expanding in this way, in this new way of perceiving your reality?
I guess I was just insecure. I mean, just to put it bluntly, I guess I was just insecure. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not even really sure. I'm not even really sure about what anymore, to be honest. Yeah, I guess I was just insecure. And it's interesting as well that I feel like as I've done this, um, for example, even being on a podcast or whatever, it was I was more nervous the first time, and I know, of course, on some level, I'm less nervous because I know you, but I also think I'm less nervous because uh, I'm just more focused on the excitement of what I'm doing, more so than any insecure. Like it's almost like it's becoming an amnesia thing. I barely even remember. No, really though, like it's weird. Like it's like why was I so insecure before? It's so strange, and I feel like I'm literally changing
Yes.
by making these connections, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it, Bruno. I really appreciated the what you were saying about me stepping up and transforming, because like I'm not like, although I'm a coach, a lot of people think coaches are like perfect. They've got everything figured out
No.
together.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no. I'm just really passionate about the transformation because I've seen, even if it's been small, I've seen transformations in myself. I've seen transformations in other people. And it's a really cool feeling to feel less limited in that way. The Unchained Self. That's why I have that the name. So I love that, and it's been beautiful experiencing that transformation. But in a way, I love that I'm moving more towards connection, because I think my fear really came from a feeling of disconnection. I think my insecurity came from a feeling of disconnection. And now that I'm connecting with people even more, not just with myself, which is really important, connect with yourself, love yourself, but I also think connecting with people more, uh, you realize there's no reason to have this feeling of disconnection, this feeling of insecurity. There's no reason for it. Doesn't make sense.
Yes, yes. And what I'm thinking is that it's about this paradoxical nature of transformation. Is when you are in, you mentioned you were in this fear space, this fear emotion, isolation also, that also the isolation brought you fear, and probably fear brought you isolation. And
Yeah.
it's very common to see these loops in behavior, also in clients. It's like they are stuck in some place because the same behavior they are doing is actually what generates their emotions, and the emotions generate their beliefs, and the beliefs generate their behavior, and it generates like this self-perpetuating loop. And the challenge is how to get out of that self-perpetuating loop. And I don't know. Well, that's where the coach enters and helps the other person to figure out the glitch in that loop, let's say, or see the evidence that actually is generating that emotion. And okay, maybe it's not in that way. And you start like reverse engineering that process that basically keeps you stuck and keeps you suffering, or keeps you not having the results that you want, basically. What I see in you is that you're a person that you have self-determination. I mean, you were stuck in that loop, but somehow you managed to take action and get out of that loop, and gather new evidence to create this new way of perceiving. That's what I'm seeing, is that you are gathering more and more evidence, and the more you reach out to new people, you feel more secure, and it's like the self-perpetuating mechanism, but in the other direction right now.
Yes. Yes.
The engine is going to the direction of collaboration. Is the new heart set. I don't know how to say it.
Yes.
And that's inspiring. That's inspiring because it means that the person listening to this episode also, the person might feel stuck in this self-perpetuating, self-fulfilling prophecy or whatever, I don't know, that keeps them stuck. And there is a way of getting out of there. And what I think, I don't know, I want to know your opinion also. I think that that's very personal, how you get out of those loops that get you stuck or get you in some situation. Yeah, what do you think about that? I mean, your case, that's why I wanted to know about your case, because what would be your way of, how do you manage to get out of that loop so the person can see the example? I know you have amnesia right now, but well, if you don't know how to answer, it's okay. I was curious about that. I'm always curious about what's the trigger,
What was the trigger for me to get out of it?
what pushed you? Yes.
Well, in some sense, you could say there's a desperation.
Oh
No,
my
I'm
God.
just saying
Yeah.
because like I think, I'm not saying that's the only thing, but as far as the initial push, like, you have to recognize that it's a problem on some level, right? And if you don't recognize that it's a problem, you don't really seek the solution. There's a lot of people who are isolated and, their lives is shitty, but they're not really looking for it out necessarily. They're just like, this is how it is. But it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable because I had things I wanted to do, right? I had things I wanted to do, and I felt like I wasn't going to be able to get there unless I made some sort of change. I didn't know how. I didn't know how. So I think that's definitely an important component. Just not you don't want to stay in that, of course, but I think sometimes you have to reach a little bit of a low, like how your clients have reached a low. There's a reason they come to you. There's a pain point, right? They're not at the mindset necessarily for change before they meet you. Otherwise, they wouldn't be coming for coaching, right?
Yes.
Right. And then I guess really, yeah, I think like when you talk to a coach, I feel like part of what you're getting is they're helping you think, right? They're not necessarily always giving you advice, although some do, but they're helping you think about things differently. But I also do think that's a starting point for connection as well, what we were talking about, and connecting to a different way of looking at things as well. So I think when I started connecting with people, again, I think originally there were just goals that I wanted to achieve. But when I started connecting with people, I started realizing that connection itself was an amazing goal. Like connection itself was beautiful. And I just wanted to be in that state more. Like I just wanted to be in that state. So I started doing that more, and I was running the experiment, and I'm like, holy shit, like more and more beneficial things keep coming. Like this is before it was even a coaching thing. I've been doing this for a while, actually. And in hindsight,
Okay.
like not always super consciously, but in hindsight, from very dark days to now, it's been a long journey, ups and downs. But I think in hindsight, like I've been playing this connection game, and it's just becoming more and more conscious about it, right, over time. And I think now I'm like, holy shit, like this. I thought it was the TV. I thought it was the computer. I thought it was the food. It's none of that shit. I swear to you, it's none of that shit. I really think so. I think it really is how connected you feel. But I think I had to get to a low to want to get out of that. And I think that playing with that helped me get out of it. And then that desire to be connected in different ways, like you could say it's purpose driven. Some people, their purpose is their means of connection with the world or other people. They're doing this thing to achieve this result. They have this effect on the world in some way. In a sense, that's a form of connection, right? It's a form of relationship with you and your experience. And I think when you get in tune with that, and that becomes something that you're very conscious of, I think then changes can happen more quickly, because you're constantly looking for it. You're seeing opportunities, and you're like, okay, I could do what I normally do, or I can run the experiment and see what happens in this case. I've been doing that so much these past few months, and I think coaches help you do that, but ultimately you have to take up that mindset yourself. It helps that I'm already into that mindset, but it's been growing even for me, like growing more and more. I'm seeing it more and more, and it's very exciting. I hope that answers your question. It's a great
Yes.
question.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
And I think it's an excellent answer also, because I can see the role of experimentation in transformation in my life also. I think all my major transformations in my life. I don't know. When I was a child, I was very shy. In example, a kid, and I was very unpopular. The kids always were like bullying me, bullying
No.
me, and etc. Yes, even though I practiced martial arts and I was black belt and everything, I kicked their asses.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
They kept coming back for more.
Yeah, because I made like a whole show because I got they knew how to get me angry, and that was a show by itself. And well, there was a vicious circle in there. Well, whatever. And the thing is that I wasn't very skillful in social in communicating, or in, let's say, I was very also insecure, and I had very low self-esteem, in example. And the major breakthrough was to do an experiment. Okay, with a friend, we sat down. Okay, man, we need to change the situation. We suck, man. It's like we are so insecure. We like a girl. We are not able to say anything to the girl. We are insecure. We need to change this. I don't want to live like this my whole life. I mean, I want a different type of life. And we started reading books, and we started experimenting, and it was exciting, exhilarating, I would say, because we were trying stuff that nobody that we knew was trying. It was something we read in books, and we're trying that stuff to be able to communicate more in a more assertive way, like body language things, and we even memorize like scripts to talk to people. That was bizarre. That kind of experimentation was bizarre, but it worked at some point, and that was like a huge mindset shift. Okay, there is another reality possible for me. And I remember we ran like, I don't know, 30-day challenges, things like that. That were like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, immersion type of experiments. And I think that's that's one possible way of generating that change, or finding out if what's on the other side. It demands some kind of dedication or experimentation, and getting out of curiosity,
yeah,
courage, also getting out of your comfort zone without courage also, and needing it, the necessity. If you are on your comfort zone and you are comfortable, let's say, you will not do anything because you're comfortable. But when you are in the comfort zone and comfort zone sucks, it's like, okay, let's upgrade this comfort zone because it's not working. So let's say that yes,
I've changed my opinion slightly on this, and I don't know if this makes sense to you, but
okay.
So I do agree that if you're always in your comfort zone, there's no, you're not going to change, right? Like you literally have to be out of your comfort zone by definition to change. But something I've been experimenting with is like the idea that, like, well, really, in a sense, my comfort zone is expanding, right? It's not that I'm always leaving my comfort zone necessarily. I'm actually expanding it. So I have to change the way I perceive things. Like, why do I perceive this as out of my comfort zone? That has to change.
Yes.
If I keep perceiving it as being out of my comfort zone, I'm actually creating resistance. So I've been experimenting. This is my experiment. I've been experimenting with honestly just really shifting my whole perception around this, because I think a lot of people they don't realize that they are creating their own discomfort with their perception of their experience. And they're really attached to it. Like, you're really attached to saying, this really sucks when this happens.
Yes, yes.
Why? You don't even question it.
Yeah.
Why does it suck? Like, what do you mean? Why? Why does it suck? If you get down to that, it becomes easier, in my opinion. It's not. I'm not saying it's easy, but if you do it, if you work on it, if this becomes something you practice, it becomes easier to quote unquote step out of your comfort zone in a more comfortable way.
I like it. I like that you mention it. And something I remember I use a lot in the past, and sometimes I also use it. It's like a mind trick I use. There are a lot of these things I remember using in the past. One of those was remembering that everything is impermanent. That was an excellent trick to get through uncomfortable quote unquote situations. Oh yeah, but this is impermanent. This is only a frame, like it's a frame. It will be uncomfortable for a second, and then it will not be uncomfortable anymore. So it's like if it never happens. So thinking about that helped me to move.
I mean, it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Yes,
It doesn't last forever. But if as long as you think it does, you're not going to do it.
You make it bigger,
or you'll make it very difficult. Yeah,
exactly.
Very difficult.
And there was another one I wanted to say. It's about self-amusement. It's something that I also use a lot. Like, I don't know, you get rejected like shit, like the worst rejection you ever had in your life. And instead of, oh, fuck, this is shit noise, you practice to basically have fun about it. And about the most dramatic, quote unquote, thing, you're having fun. And you are like, something I used was exaggerating the rejection. Like, oh my God, that was like the worst rejection ever. Ha 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 ha. Or no, whatever that it works for you to get to that positive mind state that makes things seems easier. So it's like that's something you learn with experience, I think, and things that work for you, or maybe there are some specific ways of looking at reality that diminish suffering more for you, and maybe for other person is a different kind of mindset. But I like that you mentioned that there are ways of making it feel easier. So you made me remember there is a very powerful coaching question I really love, which is about how do you need to see this situation to make it feel easier? What kind of perception should you have about this to feel this is easy? So it's like, okay, yeah, no, probably I need to observe this. Okay, how will be a Bruno that sees this problem in a more easy way?
Yeah.
And it triggers a creative thinking process. Who knows? It might transform you. So let's make an invitation for people watching this episode, listening to this episode. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a coach, if you want to improve your coaching skills, if you are an entrepreneur and want to get into this collaborative mindset, I think, Andrew, it will be a good idea to invite them to a group. They can go through the verification process. They can also see what the group is about, the value proposal of the group. What will be the value proposal of the group to share it in a very short way for people?
So I think if you join our group, the best benefit that you're going to get is that you're going to be able to collaborate with other coaches. You're going to be able to do peer coaching to get your skills up. You're going to get feedback on your peer coaching, which could be a testimonial because we've got a little system for that as well. And but yeah, like you don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to be like making money yet. Like if you're in trading, come in, like you get good. This is for people who want to grow. It's not for people who are perfect. We're authentic. We're genuine. Yeah, I would invite you to join.
Amazing.
And the verification process takes like 5 minutes.
5 minutes. I love that part, the feedback aspect of it. I mean, you're going to get honest feedback on your coaching performance if you're a coach. And also you can ask for feedback if you're an entrepreneur and you want to run a workshop in the group. Also, we are starting to create a system to allow new workshops in the group. So it's a place for growth. It's not a place to protect your self-image so you stay in the same place. No, it's about probably transcending the self-image into a new space. A new space. Who knows what new level of you is going to appear after after your transformation or after what you need to change. So yes.
I just want to add, and I think it's also relating to the previous part of our conversation. I think it's also a place for experimentation.
Yes.
If you have a certain modality that you want to try, whether it's like a healing thing or whatever that's also in coaching, or a meditation thing or something, just come and try it. Come and try it. If you have some sort of skill that you want to present, or if you have some sort of topic, anything, just present and experiment it within the group. You don't have to be an expert to do it. You don't even have to invest that much time into it. Just do it and be genuine. You'll get feedback, and I think it's a really good place for that.
Amazing, Andrew. I think it was an excellent conversation. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. It was amazing.
This was great. So if you're listening to this episode, go and subscribe to the channel. I always forget about saying that. Also, check in the description of the episode. You will see the link to join the group and go through the very easy 5 minutes verification process. And maybe, who knows, you get into the verification party we are doing in a few weeks. I don't know when are you going to see this episode, but we are running a verification party.
We'll have another one. We'll have another.
We have more verification parties. Yes. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. It's great to have you on the other side, and see you next time, next Monday. Bye-bye.